Okay, here we go.
Yeah, because we'll go from tennis across through the inner rim, out to the Bentusi cluster, and then back out across the outer rim.
The question is, does Homeworld 2 begin right here, or is there some period of Dust Wars for a couple of hundred years and we're at the end of the Dust Wars?
Wait, these would be the Trinity missions, wouldn't they?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, and it's called Trinity because there are 3 like that, so spread out?
Yep.
Man, how are we going to get across that distance?
Hyperspace.
So the outside observer, it happens instantaneously between locations, like as the mothership is getting sucked out here, it's already reappearing here at the same time, so in fact all that's happening is the mothership's there and the thing just moves through it.
The heart of the story of Homeworld is, I would say, loss, but then recovery. Losing something, but then finding out that your universe is bigger than you ever thought it was.
The music, the emotion, the writing. There were so many elements of this Homeworld game that was just done so well.
Other war strategy games before that, no, it was mostly just build your stuff, shoot up the enemy, next level.
Barbara's Adagio kicks in and you see the mothership scaffolding and it's all coming online. You really do get the sense that oh, this is an event. It kind of makes the universe bigger for you.
I'm probably one of countless kids who got into all of this stuff, computers and technology, or just into space and curiosity like the way that I did.
Definitely that first mission of Homeworld was going to change my little gamer mind.
Standing by. Confirmed. 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
So I'm Paul Chadeisson, illustrator and concept artist, and I live in Nantes.
My name is Thomas Maroney. I'm from San Jose, California.
My name is Mike Hader, and I'm from New Jersey.
My name is Matthew Hanna, and I'm from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
My name is Sean Roeder. I'm from Montreal, Quebec.
My earliest experience of Homeworld really started, I think, right when the game came out in 1999.
I was like 5, maybe 6.
I think I was maybe like 12 or 13 years old.
So yeah, I was in my early teens.
I was around 30 years old.
You said you were 13?
No, I was 30.
How old are you now?
I'm 54.
You look great.
Oh, thank you.
In all the universe, one world is special. Your home world. Exiled in space, the last survivors of your planet now depend on you. To go home, you must command the fleet, set the strategy, and vanquish the destroyers. And if you can reach home, your troubles will have just begun. Homeworld and Homeworld Cataclysm, award-winning, best-selling. These PC games are rated E for everyone.
I just retired after 10 years of military service. I was dealing with a lot. Post-traumatic stress, survivor's guilt, depression, and my relationship wasn't going very well at the time. It was a very dark period of my life. I don't even remember signing up for a beta test, to be honest, but I must have signed up for it along the way. So when I got that CD in the mail, it was a surprise.
My dad bought me the game, and unfortunately, we couldn't play it at home because my dad had a Mac and it wasn't strong enough to play the game. I had to follow my dad into work and use the work computer.
My dad had gotten this game, while I was playing Super Mario. I'd look over at the computer and he's playing this game with all these spaceships and explosions and choral music coming out of the speakers, and
it's like, all right, gotta go home now. I'm like, I am saving people's lives. We cannot leave.
When I was at school, a friend of mine was talking about me about a game.
I remember playing the first few missions of Homeworld, and I had a really good friend.
My friend was just keep telling me about a game in space.
Brian, like, you have to play this game is amazing.
And he was just talking about that non-stop.
It's like if you took the space battle in Return of the Jedi and you made that into a video game.
Watch yourself, Wedge. 3 from above.
So I was just dreaming what it could be.
Immediately, he was like, okay, let's go buy this game.
At the time, we were doing like IP to IP connection for the multiplayer.
Learning how to configure a LAN setup, type stuff into a chat to my friend and my dad who are in the other room or around the corner from me.
And that was the first experience of an online community for me as well. Some of these guys, girls were like really, really supportive. Some of them are relationships that I still have to this day. Nothing really seemed to get me out of that darkness at the time until I got that disc in the mail.
Homeworld was my gateway to the rest of the world.
See, that was the whole energy of Homeworld, was that you didn't have to really drum it home to the player. The mothership was full of the people and it was going to die, and that was it for the people of Karak. The player felt that personally. Like, how are we going to get the player to personally feel the significance of Sajuk and the bringing together of the 12 tribes?
Here's the thing, I think...
How has Homeworld impacted my life? That could be a really long answer. So I'm a game developer by trade. I'm the art director for Star Trek Online.
I have my own company. I'm a board game designer. I went to college for digital entertainment and game design.
I'm the concept artist. I work for video games or film.
I play guitar. I used to teach music for a little while.
I work as a product management for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, pretty high-end server storage. I wouldn't have considered myself a video gamer growing up. When I first got that beta disc, yeah, my computer was able to run it, but not really well. I asked my friends, like, what do I need to do? And they said, well, you need dedicated video. So, I go out, buy a video card, like, okay, but I have to learn how to install it. And I realized that my computer was junk, so I'm like, might as well just build a new system. I built my own PC for Homeworld. Then that got me interested in computers as well. I had no real interest in computer hardware until I think, I gotta be able to run this game.
Homeworld impacted my life in a very profound way because it was the first game that I ever played that made me feel like video games could be art. And I actually knew this is going to be a formative experience for me. A few months after getting Homeworld, I kind of stumbled onto the online community and I learned about all of the mods that people were making and how big the modding community was. I learned how to be kind of a graphic designer and use Photoshop and texture 3D models as I was working with other people to mod Homeworld. We had a mod that changed it into Star Trek. Shout out to all those guys if they see this. Doing that mod, we changed out all the ships, we changed out the sound effects, visual effects, we changed all the scripting, even changed the user interface. Basically, we developed a pretty complete Star Trek video game. So I sort of learned how to be a game developer as a teenager in high school and college. And that really laid the foundation for my career. And eventually I would go on to work at Cryptic Studios on the massively multiplayer game Star Trek Online, and that's what I do now. I've also had the opportunity to contribute starship designs for Star Trek Picard. So it's been quite a journey from being a kid playing Homeworld and modding Homeworld to now I have actual starships that I designed on a real Star Trek television show.
I've been living in Paris for 10 years when I was working at Dontnod Entertainment to work for a science fiction video game, which was Remember Me.
This time, you'll remember me.
And then I decided to move from the studio to create my video game company with 3 friends. We did one game.
I was 5 years old when I first saw a vector in combat. I wasn't afraid.
Which was inspired by Homeworld, by the way, because we are doing like science fiction and gigantic structure. I think it's always good to be inspired by what could inspire you.
Command line green. Initial
The designs in Homeworld are inspired heavily by Chris Foss, Pete Elson, these famous science fiction artists. The spaceships they did for their classic sci-fi novel paintings, they're weird. Protrusions and proportions, and they have these really bright, colorful paint jobs. And Rob Cunningham, the original, he's the CEO of Blackbird now, but he was one of the original concept artists on Homeworld 1. He took all that inspiration from those guys, and all of that made it into Homeworld, and it's arresting. Like, you have to look at it.
In our community of illustrators and in video games, everybody shares their work when they are able to do it. I think Rob sometimes was giving me like, hey, nice, it's cool. It happened like one day. I was releasing like a huge aircraft carrier flying. He did another painting just for fun and showing it to me like, hey, I've just done this other painting. I was okay, it looked like we've done a collab with Rob Cunningham. And later, I think maybe like 6 months or a year, he contacted me to help them on Homeworld 3. So I was, yeah! When you're freelance, you don't know like who's going to call you. They were like at the top of the people I would like to work with. Let's jump on that ship.
What do you think of something like that, Paul? Something that just kind of just goes higher and higher and becomes, you know, like at the end of a hymn in chapel, it's always.
I mean, what do you think, Bradley?
What I really liked that Homeworld does differently is how Paul Chadeisson has this almost Middle Eastern sounding tribal kind of music. The music always invokes this feeling of mystery and kind of wanting to discover something new about yourself.
First thing you worked on?
I think I worked firstly in the game, and then they asked me to do the cover for Homeworld 3. Then I had to do Homeworld Mobile, and then Desert of Karak, and I finished with Remaster.
And you said this is the cover for what?
For Homeworld Remaster. It was an interesting challenge because the other one, Homeworld 3 and Desert of Karak, they gave me some very high-res assets. But this one, it was a very old one. So I had to rework it to make it look as detailed as the Karak and Homeworld 3 asset.
Everybody makes fun of the mothership in Homeworld for being a giant banana. But that's why you remember it. People remember the Leaning Tower of Pisa because it's at an angle. They remember the Venus de Milo because she doesn't have any arms, right? All these little things set that great art apart as something that is slightly off kilter.
And then we have Homeworld Mobile. I was trying different composition, but I couldn't resist adding a gigantic structure behind. Because this looked massive, but if you see like there is something man-made, even like 1,000 times bigger, I mean, there's no limit to the scale.
And I think the way Homeworld embraced those classic science fiction paintings and novel covers really set it apart as something unique and special.
Does working on this take you back to your earliest experiences with Homeworld?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was fun because here it was like, I need to help them, not just play the game, but I need to bring like my expertise. So I felt a bit of responsibility in this project to bring the best for the game. So this is the scene of the Homeworld 3 cover. So we basically had to do like to bring the mothership going through a massive gate. It was inspired by a rocket aircraft engine, like all the small piece.
Yeah.
and then I could just find the appropriate scale and position. So I started with sketches. So since the cover was vertical, we're trying to find like a very dynamic composition going up. Then we ended thinking like maybe it could be interesting to have like a gate like that, but to turn it. This is what we did, and then we have been doing like different tests. Okay, maybe should we be more rust or maybe with colors, some light from the background, maybe some shadow, like some gigantic structure are above. And then we decided to keep like a strong shadow that really cross the image, so the eye can really be guided. It's not like establishing a new look. The look already exists like 20 years ago, so it was how to translate what is Homeworld good for and try to just keep that and not just do something fun for me, but doing something good for the game. Yeah, I had to bring back the little blue line, which is so like iconic in Homeworld, but that's it. This is the cover.
This is the final?
Yeah.
Have you been able to experience or read or hear any of the fan feedback from the stuff you've done?
Not really. Or I don't know. But if you are a Homeworld fan, maybe you can tell me.
I'll be your first Homeworld fan to tell you it looks really good.
Okay, thank you.
So you're about to get to play it.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited to get to play it.
Carrier operational and launching.
Threat detected. Let's move. Hold steady. I'm coming around. Moving to guard. We will lock. Light them up. Keep them guessing. I'm hostile. Taking fire. Target set. We're inbound. Hostile eliminated. Good shot.
It's amazing. It's like coming home.
Okay, right off the bat, I mean, the graphics are hugely better than anything I've ever seen in Homeworld.
I mean, it's just gorgeous to see Homeworld in a modern engine.
I love the material of the ship. I don't know if anybody will go as close as I do, but I really love it.
That is awesome.
Let's look at my favorite ship now that it's here. Ooh. Man, that explosion sounds awesome, but this ship is even better. Oh, it looks so cool.
What would your early teen self have said if he got dropped Homeworld 3 in his lap?
Oh, man. Very excited because that would be just basically Homeworld 1 and Homeworld 3, just more of a great game. The graphics would blow them away. The graphics in Homeworld 3 are stunning.
This is like my first new Homeworld game as an adult, besides Deserts of Karak, which was a prequel. You know, and going back and playing the old games and the remasters and getting to understand that story totally changed the way that I viewed those childhood experiences, because I'm realizing like, oh, those guys in the nebula, I thought they were just mean, they're trying to kill me, and oh, they were also from Higara and they didn't make it to Karak. There's just all these layers in the Bentusi, figuring out their place in this galaxy. And stuff that, as a little kid, where do we come from? You know, is Earth our Karak? You know, where are we from? Maybe we're from somewhere or something interesting like that.
Watching the Assault Frigate's guns track like this, it reminds me of The Expanse, and it's really scratching that space combat itch. I have to imagine with things like The Expanse on TV now, all the new Star Trek that's happening, all the new Star Wars that's happening, I have to imagine there's a generation of young science fiction fans that are, once they see Homeworld for the first time, kind of like I did, their third eye will be open, and then they'll be very excited to experience this new sci-fi universe with all these super cool spaceships and characters.
But to see the follow-up to Homeworld 2, which we've been waiting for so many years now, really excited. I'm like, I have to upgrade my PC and get all my ducks in a row for when the game comes out. And maybe I can get my dad to play it with me again. Same with my friend Justin, we barely get to play games anymore as adults. But when something like this comes out, you know, you kind of have to drop everything.
I've got a couple friends. One of them's definitely going to be on board. I may be able to get enough people for a full war game campaign in that whole new mechanic and system that sounds really cool.
What I'm really excited about is being able to thank all the developers and everybody that had a part in putting out that game that changed my life. This is a thank you letter that I never thought I'd be able to say.
Thank you. Thank you for committing to making such wonderful games to play, making a game that reaches out and influences people and touches them and inspires them.
I was going through a lot, and that really kind of started me down a whole new path.
I hope they understand how many people they did inspire with their art.
Everything I do today is what I was doing when I was a child. I just do it better. I was doing it just because I loved it, but I never imagined I would make a living with it.
I know me as a creative person, as an artist, the biggest compliment I can give someone or get from someone as a creative person is, your work inspired me to create something. Not only did I love the game that you made and I had fun, but it inspired me to make my own art.
It's a bright future for Homeworld, and I look forward to seeing it.